Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone out in the web world there. You YouTubers, you Facebookers, and you Twits. Oh, sorry, Twitters. Alright, I'm just making a joke of it because I've got to give some good energy out on this. Um, Look, I'm going to talk about courtesy notices from the OPPT, now called the One People. I'm going to talk about uh, how I see them to be used and steps you can take to back up what you're saying. I mean, these have to all be creations of you. You cannot expect someone else to do them for you. So all I'm going to point out in this short presentation is the steps I've taken to secure my being, basically. Now, I'm just going to talk quickly about a little cover note that I've used and I'm going to use from now on in relation to the courtesy notice for anyone to enter into a contract with me if they want me to perform any actions outside of my acceptance. So what I'm going to show you is what I've done on my computer. I've done it last night. I just came to some sort of realisation that this might need to be done, and I've actually produced what they call I've called it an offer to contract. I don't know whether you can all see that offer to contract. Okay, and what it states basically is that in order for you to do business with me, you need to enter into this contract with me for my interaction with you. So, in essentially what I've done is I've actually said to them, look, I am now doing business with whoever wants to come and ask me to pay some money that I don't feel is my obligation. And a lot of people go, oh, you can't do that. It's not. Well, actually, if I write it down on a piece of paper and I sign it and I put my blood from my thumb on it, then that is telling me or telling anyone that that is the man who they presume that I am, and I'll go into that in a minute. They presume that I am the man that they're trying to speak to, but actually I'm or the person that they're dealing with, but I'm actually the man that just happens to have that name, and I choose who uses that and who doesn't. So it should express permission for people to use. And so the courtesy notices are just the notification stage. People think these are remedies and this is all you need to do, but no, no, no. There's a process that you need to follow, and the process that I have followed, and with a few friends of mine, we followed a very effective process. The courtesy notices were filed first, and before all actions were taken. Even it didn't matter. Sometimes the courtesy notices were sent after the action was taken, right? And so when you file a courtesy notice to someone, you have to realise that that is not the final step. The final step is when you start invoicing, and obviously the last resort is, if you haven't got the result you want, then you can start filing liens. But before you do that, you have to go back, and if you've missed any of the steps that you should take, then you have to go back and start again. Filing liens is not good enough, because then if you have missed steps along the way, the lien stands as nothing because you have failed to fulfill your obligations to yourself. So you have to then realise, okay, fine, what did I do wrong? Let's learn from this and do it again. So the offer to contract for me is very important, because it means then I have something ironclad and something on paper that I can show people if they want to do any business with me. And obviously my terms and conditions aren't on this, because I will attach these to the back, on the back here. So if they ever need to find out how much they need to pay me for my interaction, then that's where it will be. And the reason why I didn't put my terms and conditions up on this short presentation is because it has to be everyone's creation themselves. It has to be of your own creation, right? And you are asking for permission. Let me give you a scenario. You go to court and the judge says, "Is Mr. Robert Fletcher here in this court?" Right? I'm going to talk about straw man a bit now, because then you say, "Yes, I'm here." Right? Okay. So we're talking about contracts. You have just now accepted the contract of the court. You've now accepted their authority to hear the case in regards to your straw man. So you now are a dead entity. You don't exist in the court. No matter if after that fact you state that you're the man, you've actually accepted the fact that you are Robert Fletcher, his creation of you, because he's helped write it on the paper in front of you. That's his creation of you. So what you need to understand is that if you do state your name in court, then you are subject to all charges and all laws that are put forward against you. Alright? So here's the secret to how you can get around it. And this was something I didn't think up myself. I've used a lot of different methods to come up with my own interpretation, which I will be using in court, because you have to make statements that cannot be contested or cannot be deemed as fraudulent, right? And then the judge will say to you, "Is Mr. Robert Fletcher in the court?" And you say, "No, I'm the man here in regards to this case." He says, "What? So, what are you saying?" He said, "You just keep saying it. I am the man here in regards to this case." If he says, "So you're not Robert Fletcher," at this point you do not say, "No, I'm not," because that is actually a false statement. You are. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to verbally communicate your name in court, because then that is straight away, bang, you're done. So what you need to do is you say, and keep saying it, you say, "I am the man here in regards to this case." And then, you know, because he cannot proceed, because what I'm trying to tell you is it's all about consent. They just don't tell you this information, and by you stating your name, that is your consent for that case to be heard. Okay, so you need to understand this is a very important thing, you know. And I've come to the realization that anyone who wishes to call me of that name has to have my permission for me to act in that way, as that straw man. And I will never ever give that permission to anyone, because that is not me. That is a creation of the state. And the state, if they claim authority over you, you have to get them to prove that they have authority over another man. Because if you are looking down the creation route, aren't we all created equal? Don't we all have the same rights as every other man? We're talking about man creating laws for men. And my question to that is, who gave a man authority over any other man? Well, the answer is no one, apart from their own creation. Their own creation of authority. The authority that they have has no place in your personal being, because you are not a person as such. Because you're not. Because the legal definition of a person is a corporation, a bank. It's like a dead entity, you know. It's not who, it's a what. You know, so this is what I'm trying to say about the courtesy notices. And because I'm running a little bit out of time here, I'll do another one in a couple of days. But it's just a food for thought, really, just to try and find out how people react to this. And I wouldn't mind a few people coming back and asking me what you're talking about, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions. But thanks for listening, everyone, and I'll post another video soon. Cheers.